Thank you. Actually, I think Dr. Murthy's background is much more impressive, and really delighted to have a chance to chat with you today about architecting smart home solutions for the Internet of Things. As Dr. Murthy just presented, I have done 5 startups now, so it is kind of a sickness of mine. I have to be masochistic and abuse myself time and time again to do these startups, but they're very, very exciting. And not only do I do startups, but I'm also the leader of the People Power Band. Wow. And I'm also the co-chair of the IoT track for TICON 2015. So if any of you are interested in attending TICON on May 15th, Ruth, our VP of Marketing, is right here, and she could probably get you in free. So we have some free tickets for TICON 2015, which is right here in the Santa Clara Convention Center, and the People Power Band is performing on Friday night at 6:45. So hope you can come and check us out. And Dr. Murthy also talked about intuitive surgical. So one of my companies was called Computer Motion. We were doing robotic control of surgical instruments. Intuitive actually bought us, and they gave us 1/3 of their company, and their stock was trading at $10 a share. And then suddenly well, not suddenly, but over time it built up to over $500 a share. So that is called being a lucky entrepreneur. You know, really had nothing to do with that, but robotic surgery is really, that's the way to do minimally invasive surgery these days. So I have had the opportunity to build some market-leading products and companies in my past, and I am so excited about what we are doing in smart home services that I just can't wait to tell you about this, because I think that the Internet of Things is disrupting many industries. Yes, sir?
Just 2 seconds. Can you go back to your introductory slide, please?
Sure.
No, one earlier. Thank you. Wasn't there? Thank you.
Yes, so basically what we think is going on is this huge tidal wave where the internet is growing by 10x, and it is the biggest disruption in the internet that we've seen in many years since the internet first started. And I just took this information from Forbes magazine, where it talked about some of the huge trends of strategic technologies that are being introduced today. Smartphone technology, where I think a lot of these smart home services will be experienced as just an extension of your smartphone. And you know, you are just going to be able to control more and more from the computer that you carry around with you every day. And this will reach into the Internet of Things and use advanced analytics and smart machines and cloud-to-client architecture and web-scale IT to really build this compelling user experience that will transform how we think of and look at the Internet today. So I want to talk about how the Internet of Things is reshaping our lifestyles through the use of, energy service provider disruption, new approaches to home security, and then caring for an aging population. We have this customer who is one of the largest energy providers in Germany. And their whole market is falling apart because of the rapid, much more rapid than they thought, migration to renewables. Solar and wind power is basically transforming their industry. And so we are really, working with them to see if we can help them face the new challenges brought on by energy disruption, which is really a radical transformation affecting their whole business model, their whole business. And in fact, 5 years ago, their CEO was saying, oh, this transformation is going to happen very slowly. We have decades to plan. We can really, carefully architect a soft landing as we move into this next era. But actually, this kind of moving from the centralized, almost mainframe type of approach where, these big billion-dollar power plants are supplying all the energy into this more kind of energy internet where we're going to have all these local generating power plants on people's rooftops. And you can really see it here. You can really see how distributed generation is transforming the very fabric of the energy industry. Another major disruption is happening in the security market, where you can see that, we all have to think about security, safety, and so on. I live in Palo Alto, and even in a, sometimes I call it Palo bubble because it doesn't seem like it's part of the rest of the world. But in Palo Alto, especially now I'm on this social media called Nextdoor, I realized that there are break-ins, there are burglaries, there are crimes committed, right down the block, right down the street in this, very kind of high-end neighborhood. But it happens everywhere, and yet the traditional home security market has really flattened. It's really kind of plateaued. It really doesn't speak to many of the people that are that should be improving their safety and security of their most valuable thing that they've ever bought in their lives. And yet, really, it's not configured in the way that they really see fit in purchasing security systems. But with the Internet of Things, we are talking about something that people can afford, can buy, can use in a way that fits into their lifestyles very nicely, and that is really disrupting the entire security market, which is a multi-billion-dollar market every year. And then finally, one of the most important aspects, in my view, that needs to be disrupted, where disruption is coming in a huge way, is dealing with our aging demographics. There is a gigantic new market expected to reach $49 billion by 2020 in dealing with our aging population. And let me tell you, People Power wants to be right at the forefront of this because I'm getting older. We're all getting older, and this is something that is going to reach epic proportions. You can see here that our population is really aging. You can see that in the 1960s, the red baby boom is now moving up in 1990. By 2020, it is going to be one of the biggest segments of our population where, we're moving from 1 in 5 people being over 65 to 1 in 4 and then 1 in 3 by 2050. But at the same time, in the US and really around the world, the ratio of caregivers to the aging person is really, that ratio is declining precipitously. So the Internet of Things is really set up to be a really great solution for these 3 industries that are totally being disrupted now, and I'm going to talk about how that can be done. Now first, I'll say that IoT will be adopted by the masses, but only after we really build solutions that improve what people really deeply care about. There have been a few examples of success stories, but by and large, it's taken longer for IoT to catch on than previously predicted. And that's because we're really being blocked by some realities and limitations of today's technology. First, there are way too many incompatible standards, incompatible protocols. It's like, standards are so good, that's why there's so many of them. The user experiences just aren't there. They're not simple, they're not engaging, they're not cool, they're not mobile, they're not fitting into people's lifestyles in a clear and clean enough way. And finally, the tools that take advantage of the massive migration to social media, to community networking, they're really not there to leverage the kind of experiences that people are looking for. Now, we have found, when I say we, I'm talking about my new company, People Power, has found that there are several use cases that people really, really care about a lot. And those include security. People want to feel safe and secure in their homes and small businesses. Saving money. Pretty much nobody wants to waste money. And finally, home care. And this is really in the area that I was talking about before, but in the context of elder care, but it really doesn't have to be elder care. It could be caring for a child that's sick, caring for your pet who's laid up, caring in general when you have to be at work, when you're remote, making it very, very simple to check in on your loved ones from your phone, wherever you are in the world. And so our vision at People Power can be summarized on this slide. So really, one of the things that we believe is that IoT is not going to be successful if you have 25 devices, you don't want 25 apps. That is just a nightmare. That is not ease of use. That is not good user experience. You want to have a super app that can manage all of these devices in your home, whether they're talking Wi-Fi or Zigbee or Bluetooth or Apple's HomeKit or whatever it's talking. You want to be able to control it across many manufacturers, many protocols, but from a single, simple app. And then also, smart home should not be done one home at a time. It may penetrate that way, but really, you want to be able to reach out to your trusted circle of family and close friends who you really trust, and then reach out further into a smart community where you can protect your neighborhood. You can have emergency response for your mother or grandmother who's lying on the floor and has 10 minutes right now. So those types of features and functions will really, I think, accelerate the adoption of these new IoT solutions. People Power really has 3 products that we are offering. The first is called Presence. How many of you have heard of Presence? Oh boy, I'm glad I'm here. Not enough of you. Should be everybody. So we have a fantastic award-winning app called Presence, and it's free. How many of you have either an iOS or Android phone? Every one of you. Okay, you got to try it out. It's free. And basically, Presence turns your old smartphone into a Wi-Fi security or video camera with built-in motion detection and video alerts. We've delivered 10 million video alerts so far. We basically just won the most innovative and overall winner from the SIIA. And we actually are stopping burglaries. We're helping watch kids. We're helping people check up on their pets, on their elderly relatives. And all you need is an old smartphone that you're not using anymore. You download the app into your old phone, your new phone, and then you can look from your old phone into your new phone just like that. Very, very simple, very, very clean. We also have opened up our whole software infrastructure framework. And that is something where essentially we are enabling others to jump onto fabrics and connect their connected device up, and it starts out free. And then finally, we have this command center. So after an IoT network has been deployed to maybe millions of people, you can actually see what devices are down, what devices are not working, what devices are reporting. And then you can actually engage users. You can give them points, rewards, and things. So basically, this is our product line. And Presence itself, it starts free. You can see how I have this robot here, and this is a robot that we offer for 99 bucks. You plug your old, in my case, at my house, I have my iPhone 4 plugged into the robot, and now I can look around my house just by viewing and swiping with my finger, and this little $99 robot gives me a 360-degree view around my home, so I can check up on things while I'm gone. Now, of course, being free is not a great business model, so we actually, upsell about 3% of our users to premium products, which cost, on average $5 a month. So we have Presence Pro Security coming out, we have Presence Pro Energy, and we have Presence Pro Care coming out later this year. So essentially, these give you new sets of features that I won't talk about too much, but I'm going to show you a number of examples. So here is a rules engine. The important thing about Internet of Things are not the things. It's how you can orchestrate them together to help the people using these things. And so here's an example of an iOS. Is it an iOS? Yes. Looking out to the front, out the front window, and there's a rule which says if my front door opens, then make my front door cam take a picture. So that's all there is to it. Every time somebody comes up to the home, it snaps a picture. Here's another one. If my expensive whiskey bottle moves, then notify me on my phone. Notify me by email. Because this, by the way, is a $1,000 bottle of whiskey. I do not want my babysitter who I hired to start checking out the whiskey. So this is, again, a small little sensor. You just peel off the sticky, stick it on the bottle. As soon as somebody moves that bottle, you get notified. And then you get a notification like this. Your expensive whiskey moved. Actually, how many of you have teenagers? Okay, you know what I'm talking about. I do too. Dad, I really don't know how that whiskey moved. You know, go figure.
My dad used to notch the label.
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah, but this is a real-time alert.
Then the sun started adding water.
Exactly. Now, this is an interesting one. This is basically says, if I go away, not only turn on my front door cam and enable motion detection, but also make my bird feeder cam enable auto sharing to Twitter. So one of the cool things is we have social media today, like Twitter. So this is what we call a live Twitter feed. In other words, you know, people like, there are a lot of zoos doing this. For example, there's one zoo where they have an owl exhibit. The only thing is, the people go to the zoo during the day. The owls are sleeping. But at nighttime when they come out, there's no people. But here, you just get this stream of live video tweets where you can see things like owls coming out of their holes or whatever they live. Here's another one. This is how many of you have pets at home? Okay. Actually, the pet use case is huge for us. You know, and people will stress out about their pets. Does my pet have water? In fact, today I just noticed my dog ran out of water. Here's all you can do. This is a water sensor, and it says, if my dog water bowl dries up, then notify me on my phone and notify me by email. And so basically what happens is, now you can see the level is lower than the sensor. Your dog water bowl dried up. Those are the kind of things that really kind of engage people in what they care about in their lifestyle. You know, it's things that speak to their own family situation, their own, you know, people who they love the most, their own valuables, and so on. We also have this Presence Pro Energy. So here are some other kinds of devices. Now, I will actually acknowledge to you all something that I did not realize when I first started People Power, and we started kind of as a clean tech company, which is unfortunately, I found out to my horror, people don't really care that much about energy. Energy is you know, it's kind of more of a, if I am saving money and I'm helping to live a more sustainable lifestyle, that's good. But it's really kind of a second order type of thing, as opposed to safety, security, health, home care, things like that. But nonetheless, these are some of the devices: solar panels, smart plugs, meter readers, and so on. So this is a smart plug that we support. Basically, if I go away, then make my desk switch off. If I am out of the house, there is no reason for me to continue paying. In my house, what I do is I use something where my TV turns off. My TV, my Wii, and my DVD player turn off every night at midnight. They turn back on at 8 a.m., and I save about $85 a year based on just not having my TV on when I'm not watching it. And I could be more aggressive because actually during the weekday mostly we're not watching TV either. But so there are just some simple things that have a good ROI that also allow you to help save. Hey, Ruth, I forgot. I'm supposed to be on a radio show at 1:30. and it's 1:30, so I'm not going to make it. Can you do something about that? Sorry about that.
What sensor did you put there?
Sorry?
What sensor did you put there to get that alert?
Oh. Yeah, I got an alert. So this is an example of a more sophisticated Internet of Things, which does it turns your home into a much smarter home, much more smart than a smart meter will provide, because this is a circuit level monitoring, and it's in real time. So here, now, this is something which requires a professional electrician to install. So it's not something that I would advise anybody to do to install themselves, although my CTO actually did this. This is his. And this is the kind of information that it provides. So you can see that we are showing whole home monitoring, washer, dishwasher, dryer, hot water, air conditioner, office, oven, and furnace. So you can see all of these circuits being monitored, and we can actually monitor it every 15 seconds. And then you can do all kinds of analytics, like, gee, you're paying for air conditioning when nobody's home. Gee, your refrigerator is consuming 3 times as much power as it should be. Maybe you should get it looked at. There's something going wrong. Or maybe the door seals are not closed or is leaking cold air. Or maybe you need to vacuum your coils and so on. So this provides a lot more granular approach to energy. And then this one is the blue line power cost monitor, where we can turn a dumb meter into a smart meter. This optical arm is basically tracking a spinning disk, and again, gives you real-time energy consumption so that you can see what you're spending. For example, if I'm watching my energy and I turn on my dryer, boom, I get this huge spike. And so on. Now, backing all of this is this technology. So all of those were kind of end user views. What is really the magic behind this Internet of Things software architecture? We call it Fabrics. And Fabrics weaves together devices, protocols, analytics, social networking, and all presented in a mobile user interface. So you can see here that we have this 4-layer stack, the left half being on the mobile side, the right half being in the cloud. And we start out with these unified connectivity layer where all kinds of protocols and devices, all these devices are currently supported. So from air conditioners and solar panels and meter readers and occupancy sensors and lights and routers and TVs and electric plugs and so on and so forth. And then bringing it together through an analytics layer where we have things like rules engines, social networking layer where we can engage users in these contests and give them points and awards and so on. And then finally a presentation layer on the mobile side being an end user oriented presentation, on the cloud side being really a service provider level presentation where you can integrate with billing and you can actually have tools that will help you support users, which is very important. You want to not only just deploy something, but you want to be able to support it afterwards. So you need to know very quickly when something is down, when something is not reporting, when something's not working. And also you want to be able to communicate to users, groups of users, and this is kind of a very important administration function.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any APIs for third-party applications?
Absolutely.
Can you talk about that?
Well, all of this is open for third parties. Fabrics is open for third parties for free. So this is Fabrics. This is our developer console. If you go to Fabrics, which is spelled weird, fabrux.peoplepowerco.com, you will get to our free developer console where anybody can take a connected device and connect it into our cloud and operate it from the mobile. And essentially, and as an example, we just today, signed our biggest contract with the world's largest TV manufacturer to do exactly this. And this was after they actually started connecting to Fabrics. They built a team. They accessed our cloud service. In 4 days, they had connected their air conditioner and lighting. It's very fast. We're designed to connect to clouds. So we are not a standalone, you have to only use ours. We do cloud-to-cloud integration, we do cloud-to-gateway integration, and we do cloud-to-device integration. So, you know, we are not a company, we're a small company. We don't think that we will be the only platform on the planet. That's impossible. There are so many companies doing platforms. Our strategy is to enhance and weave together platforms and make it accessible from a unified mobile app. Because our thinking is that, okay, there are going to be many, many different kinds of platforms. I guess I got to speed it up here. So this is kind of the Fabrics console. All of the API docs are open and free and available right now. Check out our API docs. We have device APIs. We have cloud APIs. Every Presence app, and there's something like 600,000 Presence apps out there. If you pinch the app, you move into the secret developer mode. That's how we get it to. So in other words, our Presence is a little bit of a Trojan horse out there. If people connect up to apps, you can very quickly pinch Presence. Now you can see those devices that you've connected. For example, here's an entertainment center UI. So in other words, you can upload into our cloud your customized UI for your own devices. And then you can see them by pinching. And now you can actually start controlling your device from Fabrics. It's very cool. It's very straightforward. We have built something that is highly scalable. Let me tell you about People Power is, I forgot to say this on my background slide. I was kind of concentrating on the band. My last company was called Bitfone. We were the #1 provider of mobile phone device management software. We served the largest carriers on the planet, in particular China Mobile, which is the largest. So we served China Mobile. We embedded our technology into 300 million phones. My team from Bitfone, we were sold to HP. We worked at HP. We left in disgust. We started People Power. And that team of 12 of us built this system. We have extensive experience in carrier-grade service, kind of software as a service technology. And that's what we're bringing forward for the Internet of Things. We also have this command center, which is this admin console where you can do things like see when something is not working and help support it. And then finally, we also have created what the Department of Energy, U.S. Department of Energy, DOE, has been proposing and promoting to utilities around the country and is now available to over 43 million households. It's called Green Button. Green Button is a standard way where an end user can opt in to get their energy data, so you don't have to install weird hardware onto your house as long as your utility has already installed a smart meter. So Green Button was largely written by John Teeter, who was our chief scientist, and he became a White House Presidential Innovations Fellow. And this is the way that we feel we can really help scale. So in summary, we think that IoT is really coming to the rescue to build and fill the need for disruptive new Internet of Things solutions in the areas of security, energy, and home care for smart home services. So People Power, we're really working to empower people who care about safety, about wellness, about savings, and we'd love to work with any of you who are targeting this smart home services area. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Amazing talk. Any questions? You may come to the microphone if you have any questions. Yeah.
So what's the language you have used for underlying?
Just repeat the question.
Yes, the question was, what language did we use? We're really pretty much Java based on the server, and we also have, on the embedded side, we actually offer a free C-based SDK for embedding into your router or your device, and that's free, and that's C, so that it's very small size.
Thank you.
Yes?
Peoplepower.com?
It's peoplepowerco.com. Peoplepower.com was taken, so yeah, it's peoplepowerco.com. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your talk.
Thank you.
I have an elder care company. We're a SaaS company that's working in the same space, but one of the concerns that I hear expressed over and over again is that of data privacy.
Yes.
And the concern of, I don't want somebody spying on me, watching me, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
I'm interested in your comments on that.
Well, we face that a lot. Is that did people hear? I think everybody could hear you because you spoke into the mic. So yes, I used to be an executive vice president at Symantec, and so I actually learned a lot about security during that time. In a way, you know, our video solution is more secure than bank level security because we do two-way authentication from this device to that device, from this device to that device. The reality, though, is if you give up your name and password, you know, that's how people will breach security. So you really have to have, you know, good hygiene when it comes to your username and password and that type of thing. I think however, that security and privacy area is one of the very important aspects that will need to be dealt with in order for people to feel comfortable with Internet of Things. However, just flipping the meaning of security on the other side, we were just on Good Morning America because somebody had taken their old iPad, set it up to watch their cats. And in fact, what happened was they not only saw their cats, but they also saw this armed robber come into their house with a big old knife and steal their Mac. And so when you're talking about home security, you know, we actually, because of that presence video that they captured, they were able to actually find that intruder and apprehend them before they got away. So.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you, Doc.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for a
Thank you,
great
Dr. Murray.
presentation.
Thank you so much.